My name is Alexis. I'm 30 and I'm from North Dallas, Texas.
Hey, how you doing, Alexis?
I'm doing good.
So I decided to grab you for this interview because you are a woman that has experienced domestic violence in your lifetime,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And we want to go through that and then just break it down, and so people out there can understand what it's like to go through it, and if someone's if someone needs seeking help and they don't know what
Mhm.
to do, I want you to be able to tell us what's going on and what happened.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. How'd you end up in a domestic violence situation?
The first time I ended up in a domestic violence relationship, I was 18. I had just had my son. I was a single parent. And so my child's father, he wasn't involved. So I think I was searching for not only love, but like a family, like, a father figure for my son too, because I was so young, I was by myself. And so I wanted that. And there was this guy that had been, trying to get with me for a while, and I had just been ignoring him. But he kind of seems like I won't say nerdy, but like, he wasn't like hood. So I felt like, okay, let me just give him a chance. And so I gave him a chance. And in the beginning, he was, real sweet. He took my son in like he was his own. And it started out real good. And then later on down the line, he didn't start off physically abusive. It was more so like not I don't even want to say mentally. I want to say it started out just like verbal abuse.
Okay.
Like, it started out verbally. And then it would get physical. After a little while he started to get physical. And in the beginning, it would just be like a push or like a slap or something like that. And I think I dealt with it the first, couple of times because he would apologize. He would say he was just mad. He wouldn't do it again. And, I didn't think it was that serious. And so I stayed around, and then later on down the line, it got more physical. It was more than just a push or a slap. It was, multiple slaps, multiple shoves, and then, weapons would get involved and stuff like that. And then, I was already stuck by that point because I had, love for this dude. He was helping me with my son. He treated my son like he was his. When times were good, they were good. It's just when they were bad, they were worse. So I was already stuck at this point, I felt like.
Right. When you said weapons would get involved, what type of weapons would like?
Hangers, belts, shoes. It just depended on what was around him at
Did
that time.
did you fight him back or?
Yeah.
Okay, so it
Um,
was so he would hit you and then you would react.
I wouldn't react immediately. It would be more so like he would I would get to the point where he would be hitting me so much that I would get out of the sadness of it and get angry. So I would stop crying and get mad, and then I would react.
Hmm.
So reactive abuse.
Right, right, right. Okay, so this how long did this go on?
The first time, like a year. It was like a year.
So what would the arguments be over? Or did it?
Oh,
Yeah.
the arguments would be sometimes it would be small stuff like we disagree on like what we watching or how the bed is made up or something like that, and then it'd escalate. And then other times it would be like I'm popular where I'm from, and it'll be people that I know speaking to me or sending me messages, and me talking to them. It would go from there, or him cheating and stuff like that, and me being mad about him cheating, and him being mad that I'm mad that he was cheating.
Right. So You said how long did this last?
The first time, a year.
Okay, yeah, a year. All
Mhm.
right. So, what was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Um, I won't even say it was the abuse because it wasn't. It was more so I started to get real bad anxiety and I would have panic attacks. So I couldn't really work. I would leave work a lot because of the panic attacks, but it was because of him cheating. He was cheating on me real bad with this one girl, and I had just got to the point where it wasn't even abuse, it was just the cheating I got tired of, and I just moved on.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
So you you told me you ran into another relationship,
Mhm.
right? And tell me how the second relationship started.
The second one, I was a little bit older. I was 21, and I had met this dude on Facebook, and he had been trying to get at me for like 2 years, but I had really never paid him no mind. It's like, he's just another person in my inbox. But we ended up having a conversation one day, and I gave him my number, and then we talked on the phone a lot. He was on house arrest, so I couldn't see him. We just talked on the phone a lot and we got close. So when I finally did get to see him, he was, a real sweet dude. He didn't seem like, a bad person. Just because he was on house arrest, I didn't, think of it like, oh, he could be violent. I just, a lot of people go to jail. I didn't really think about it. So the first time I went and seen him, he was real sweet, really like a square dude. And then, I would go and see him at his mom's house a lot, and it wasn't abusive in the beginning, like the first time. And then we broke up, and I moved away to McKinney for a little while, and so we had a break, and then I came back. I moved back to Dallas, and I got my first apartment, and so he moved in with me. And that's where the abuse started. That's where I started to see like who he really was. The whole nice act, the sweet act, he dropped that completely. He was somebody totally different when he moved in with me. When he moved in with me, I had been living there probably a week, and he went through my phone, and he seen a couple of people on Snapchat, like, trying to conversate with me. And it didn't matter if I replied or not. He just didn't like it. He was real possessive, real jealous. And he broke my phone. And then um, he started slapping me around. And my sister was around, so she was trying to stop him. And I ran down the stairs to my living room, and he followed me, and he just kept smacking me around until my sister threatened to call the police. And then from there, like he wasn't around me for a couple weeks after that, but I eventually forgave him, and he continued to live with me, and the abuse got just worse from there.
Why do you think it is that you forgave him for this?
um I think it's a couple reasons why. Growing up, I seen a lot of abuse. I've seen, and I think movies too. I watched a lot of movies growing up where there would be abuse in relationships, and I think I felt like this type of stuff go on in relationships, and if you want it to work, and you want to be with somebody, you gotta, forgive, forget, move on, let stuff go. Don't hold on to the past. And um I think me having a lot of love for him too, and me being easily manipulated was another reason. With the whole "they won't do it again," he's sorry, that type of thing.
Right. Did you ever feel like when he was abusing you, like did you ever think like I deserve this, or did you ever think like that?
There was some occasions where I would do certain things, and then when he would react, I did feel like, well, I did do this, so this time it's my fault. I feel like I deserved it this time because of my actions, what I had done.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you would give him the benefit of doubt because of situations like that.
Yeah. Mhm.
What was one of the worst situations that you and that guy went through?
Um, one day, we were arguing about something and he pushed me down like a flight of stairs. I had a townhouse and he pushed me down that flight of stairs, but I had, caught a hold of him and I grabbed him and he came rolling with me. But when I got to the bottom of the stairs, I just kind of like laid out, like pretended like I was like knocked out of dead, but it didn't stop him from when he got up, he still was beating on me, but, I'm laying there pretending like I'm knocked out, but it didn't stop him. He continued to, beat me while I was laying there. He just dragged me into the bathroom and kept it going until my sister called, like, I think his mama or something, and she didn't really stop him. I think he just got tired.
Right. And did you have to go to the hospital or anything because of this?
No, I didn't go to the hospital that time. He was real good about keeping an open hand. And even with an open hand, he hit real, he still hit hard, but he was real good about keeping his hand open.
Right.
Yeah.
Um. So when something like this happens, are you in a dark place?
You mean after an
When
occasion of abuse or
yeah
during the whole thing?
yeah yeah. So like, walk me through it. Like,
Um, During some of when I was around that age, I wouldn't say I was in a dark place with, the relationship. I still had fun. I still was happy. But when the abuse would happen, yeah, I would go into like a depression. I would be sad for a little while, just not understanding how somebody I love could continue to do stuff like that.
right,
And then, not have regrets about it or not be, remorseful. It just was like another Tuesday to him.
yeah. Um. So how long did this relationship last?
Like 2.5 years. And it was only because he ended up going to prison. So that was what got us away from each other. It wasn't like I left or he left. He ended up going to prison.
Right. So
Yeah.
how many times would you say during this relationship he put his hands on you?
This was like at least once a week, unless we were like into it or broken up. This was like once a week.
Do you feel like there was something that was like that he suffered from anything, a mental illness? Did you feel like he was insecure?
He was very insecure because he was poor his whole life. So like he didn't really have much. He didn't have, nice clothes or shoes, and he would compare himself to like, the other dudes that had and things like that. And then he watched his daddy, abuse all his women and his mama and stuff like that. And so I think it was just embedded in him. I think his daddy used to pimp too. So I think it was just embedded in him. I don't think he really had a chance from the beginning. He had been in and out of juvenile as a kid. Like when I had first met him, he had just got out of the penitentiary. He had been in a juvenile pen too, um, throughout his teenage years. So I think he just really didn't have a chance from the start.
I have to ask, where is he now?
He actually just got out of the penitentiary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Has he tried to contact you or anything like that?
Yeah, he contacts me.
And what do you say? Like, do you remind him of what he did?
He contacts me. He contacted me the whole time he was in the penitentiary, and we would have conversations here and there. It would always end in like an argument or something like that because he don't like to take accountability for the things that he did. He always got an excuse for why he did it and things like that. And then when he was released, he called me and we would conversate here and there, but again, it would just always end in argument because he's just gonna always be who he is. Nothing is gonna change who he is. He's always gonna be who he's always been. He's a very angry, abusive man, and I think he's just always gonna be like that.
Right. Um, So what are some of the signs that you know you can look for?
Um, Anytime a man says he loves hard, he means he beats his girls up. In the beginning, if they start off love bombing you, like let's say, well, both times with the first two, I had been talking to them maybe like a week or two, and they was like, they love me, they in love with me. The second dude, I known him for like 7 days, and he was already saying he was in love with me. Love bombing is a sign that they're gonna either be mentally abusive or physically abusive. And then anytime something really small makes them unreasonably angry, they're going to be abusive. Like something really little, if it gets them to blow up, like, you know, unreasonably, they're going to be abusive. If they punch holes in walls, if they tear up anything that belongs to you, even if they're not hitting you yet, if you physically or you watch them tear up stuff, put holes in the walls, break TVs, break phones, abusive, controlling. Anytime they're controlling, real jealous, not all jealous men, but most controlling and jealous men, they are abusive. Any domestic violence relationship I've been in, they've been very controlling, very jealous, and it always ends with a fist, always. um I I wouldn't say. I mean, you can ask them how their childhood was, depending on how they were raised. That matters sometimes too, because both the first two men, they watched they mom be beat up by their dad, and sometimes that'll make a man not want to put his hands on women because they watched their mom go through it. But a lot of the times it makes them feel like it's okay because their mom went through it. So those are a lot of the signs I seen in the beginning that I seen multiple times with each relationship. They all had those traits.
You mentioned earlier, you said you used to watch movies and you would see like this is probably what has to happen,
Hmm.
right? Is there anything like far as you know, in this day and age, people really like toxicity, like in toxic
Hmm.
behavior. Is
Yeah.
Were you ever kind of like attracted to any of this?
Um, it goes back to like the whole me watching movies and stuff, as a younger kid, learning what relationships is and seeing jealousy in those movies and things like that. I did when I was younger. I thought the whole jealousy thing was cute. I thought the possessive thing was cute. Um, Yeah, and then I used to like, the hood dudes, the ones that's, in the streets, things like that. And majority of those men, they are like that. They beat their girlfriends up. So yeah, I was attracted to it when I was younger. I was attracted to the hood dude, the jealousy, the controllingness. I thought it was cute
Right,
until it wasn't.
right. Um, with this guy, did he use any weapons on you or anything like that? Or
Oh yeah. Um Coke bottles, air fresheners, belts, hangers, um, his hands, anything that was around him, if he felt like it, he would, but he mostly used his hands. But he did use weapons sometimes. Most of the time, if he used the weapon, it was because I picked it up, and he was one of those like, oh, you was gonna use it on me, I'm gonna use it on you, like that. So that was the only time he really used weapons, was if I picked it up to defend myself.
right.
Yeah.
Did you ever start a fight ever?
Yeah. I've started once I was in those relationships and that's how that relationship went, I would start physical altercations too. Like I would put my hands on them if I was angry, because if you gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. You hit me when you mad, so I'm gonna hit you when I'm mad. But it wasn't as often because I knew the consequence of what I was doing. I knew once I was finished putting my hands on him, I knew it was gonna be a lot worse on my end. So I picked and chose those battles I pick and chose those battles real good. I made sure if I was gonna do it, it was gonna be for a real good reason, because I knew my consequence.
All right, and then lastly, you said the worst relationship that you were in was the third relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
you said everything that you said so far has been really bad. Why would you say this is the worst one?
This one was the first two. I thought that they were, which they were abusive, but it was like child's play compared to what I went through with this one. Like those two, they never closed their fist. It was always an open hand. It wasn't as often, it wasn't as severe. I never really had any, like, they never made me bleed. I didn't have any broken bones, anything like that. I think I might have had like a busted lip once, but other than that, and maybe a black eye, but other than that, it was never really any damage done with those two. The last one, it was real bad. Those two was child play compared to him.
Right? Do you mind going in like more detail about it?
With the last one, I had a broken ankle, 3 broken ribs, a dislocated shoulder, a busted eardrum, a fractured brow bone. I had a bunch of black eyes, bite marks. I had to get staples in my head at one point, in my scalp, and scar tissue in my breast from him biting them there too. So yeah,
Wow.
a lot of injuries came with that one.
And did this one start off innocent as the same as the other ones?
No, he didn't hide it like them. We were dating probably like a week before the first time. But this one I had known for a while. The other two I met like on social media or like, I had known this one for a while. We talked and, real cool before we started dating for years. And then he ended up going to prison. And then when he got out of prison, he found me and we got back in touch. So I had known this one for a while before we started dating. And then it was like a week into it before he got physical. So he didn't hide it right off the bat, but he also didn't keep going after the first time. After the first time, he waited a real long time before he did it again. And I did feel like that first time I caused it. So I wasn't really, on the run because I felt like I did something wrong. I did something I shouldn't have been doing. So
yeah, you said the ankle and ribs, and
mm-hmm.
man, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And what would make you take somebody back that would do something like that to you?
I would say I never really had the opportunity to leave because he was real controlling. He made sure from the very beginning, he isolated me from all my friends. So I didn't really have any friends over the years because he didn't really allow me to have friends. And then when I did, he would run them off or they didn't want to be around them because they were so scared of him. So he isolated me from them. I was isolated from my family a lot too because of the abuse. He didn't want my family to see. So I didn't really see my family as often. And then he was real good at manipulation. He'll break down in tears. I'm talking about crying like somebody died. And he didn't really have no family either. So I felt bad, knowing he don't really have nobody besides me. He don't have family. His mother passed away. His father passed away. He don't really have any family besides me. So that was another reason why too. I felt responsible for him. Yeah.
If you could say anything to a woman that is going through abuse right now, what would you say to her?
It don't get no better. Don't let a man tell you that he's gonna change. He promised he gonna stop. He's not. And the abuse gets worse. It does not get better. They do not decide to go backwards. If he started off backhanding you and then started, closing his fist and punching you, it's gonna get worse. It's not gonna get any better. And eventually, whether it's on accident or it's on purpose, they will kill you. If you can get out, get out. And I especially because I done been through it, a lot of people say, oh, you can't speak on it because you ain't never been through it. You got to go through it to be able to speak on it when people ask why you don't leave. And I used to say that too. But with me going through it, I know that there are certain times where we get the opportunities to leave and we don't take them. If you can get the opportunity to leave, leave, because he will not stop. He has no intention on stopping, especially if you let it happen and you take them back, you forgive them, they able to manipulate you. They have no intentions on stopping. Anytime you do something that makes them mad, that pisses them off, they're going to beat you up. Does not matter. If you have the chance to leave, leave, especially if you have kids. If you got kids, leave, because eventually they will turn that abuse on your kids too, depending on the man. And not even just the physical abuse your kids go through. They go through the trauma too of watching, they mama be beat up. And that's very traumatizing to children. And you don't want your kids to go through that because you quote unquote love this man. It ain't that much love in the world.
Right.
Mm-mm.
I like to ask this at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst thing that's happened to you, and what's the best thing that's happened to you?
The worst thing that happened to me was, you mean in these relationships or?
In period.
Oh, the worst thing that ever happened to me was losing my big sister when I was 16. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me. And the best thing that ever happened to me was my son, me having my son. Yeah.
Is there any quotes that you live by?
Not really. Other than, fuck it, we bow. Other than that, no.
Alexis, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.